Hello, 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 and welcome hopefully to another edutaining episode of Create Simple Meals. So today we're going to do deep fried pork chops. I know everybody got their own way of doing pork chops. Let me see if I'm getting any feedback here. Testing. I know everybody got their own way of doing pork chops, but this way is mine. And what we're going to do with these pork chops, we're going to serve them with a sauteed zucchini and squash. It's not part of the recipe, but basically all I did was took some zucchinis, I chopped them up into little, medallion-sized pieces, season them off with it's about 1.5 pounds of zucchini squash. I season that off with 1.5 teaspoons of salt and put on some Italian seasoning and some butter and oil. So nothing real major on that. As always, folks, while you're sitting there, please remember to click that subscribe button, click that YouTube button, and that notification bell so you know when we're on. Please like and follow us on Facebook. Please follow us on Instagram. Tap into us on TikTok for all our recipes and videos. You can get them on createsimplemeals.com. And if you want to contact me, you can email me at askme@createsimplemeals.com. And if you're on there, you can hit that chat feature and talk to me directly. As always, this show is brought to you by the Self-Employed Tax Guy, the first ever tax prep company that was built from the ground up for you and me. Self-Lodge planning for all your travel needs. The world is starting to open back up. For all your gift ideas, please hit up For You By Me Creative Designs for unique ideas. And for all your t-shirts, please hit up Petty Phrases. When you got something to say it with your chest. All right, so first thing, I'm going to get this burner going. Even though we're not going to use it right now, we're going to get that burner going. In the meantime, let me grab me some gloves. And we're going to start on the pork chops. So, for the pork chops, again, you got to give me the comments because for whatever reason, only YouTube is coming through on the screen. For the pork chops, real simple. We got about 2 teaspoons of salt. We got a teaspoon of black pepper, teaspoon of paprika, and a tablespoon of garlic. And we're just going to mix that up with our handy-dandy God-made stirrers. And that's going to be the seasoning for our pork chops. Now, I know I'm going to get this question, so I'm going to answer it now. I'm going to put a little mustard on these just for adhesion. You will not taste the mustard. Trust me on this one. You won't taste it. But if you don't want to use that, you can put a little oil on there to make it stick. I've even used hot sauce, but today I am using the mustard. Hey, what up, cuzzo? I got to hit you up, too, about July. I might have some good news. All right, so first thing we're going to do, put just a little bit of mustard, not a lot, just a little squirt is all you need. And just going to rub that on in. Same on the other side. And these are some pretty thick pork chops. You want to get about 1.5 inches thick. One of the reasons, oh, wait a minute, that's 2 pork chops. I thought I had 5. Okay, well, somebody got lunch. You want them about 1 inch thick or so. And the reason being is because you want that crust to brown. On the bench! You want that crust to brown while you're frying it. If they're too thin, you're going to get burnt up, dried out meat, and your crust ain't going to be done. All right. So again, just putting a little bit of mustard on here just so it'll stick. Not a whole lot. As you see, I'm just putting a tiny squirt on there. Just enough. I was watching this one show, I forget the dude's name. I think his name is AD, it's a cooking show. And he said something, I wish I had corn. He said, we ain't going to do a whole lot of talking. All right. So that's done with that. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to start seasoning these off. Try to keep your hands separated. You're wet and dry. Put a little bit on that one, a little bit on here. And then for the flour, I've already seasoned up the flour, my bag of flour. All we did in there was put a 1.5 cups. Actually, well, I'm doing more than what the recipe calls for. About 2 cups of flour and about 6 teaspoons of salt for that. So I'm a firm believer, you season your meat and you season your flour. You know, I've seen some recipes, all they do is season one or the other. Where I'm from, that ain't gonna work too well. Actually, where I'm from, they be clowning me about even measuring out in the first place. But here on Create Simple Meals, we don't like to leave nothing to chance. So we want to help you out in your cooking journey as much as we can. Put a little bit more on that. And what I should do is put the, no, I ain't gonna do that. I was gonna say put the rest of this in the crust, but nah. I'm gonna go ahead and stick to what I was doing. Again, if you are just now tuning in, we are doing, oh, I gotta hit that wrong one again. Sorry about that, folks. We are doing deep fried pork chops. So we've got 3 pounds or so of pork chops here, and we made up a seasoned blend of a little bit of garlic powder, paprika, and black pepper. And then into our flour, we added in 6 teaspoons of kosher salt, and we're gonna go ahead and shake them up in that. So, let me go ahead and get this bag. I have to change my glove too. All right. And we're just going to just put these in here one at a time and shake them up. No rhyme or reason to it, just shake it up. Get these out of my way so I have a place to land them. Hey, Tasana, what's going on? See, I was chatting with her earlier, or tagged her earlier. Every year, my alma mater, the Mighty Crenshaw High School, I know most of y'all America done heard of it. They got a picnic, and every year it's at a time when I have a Masonic function, and I always miss it. It doesn't fail. I always go miss that picnic. Maybe one of these years we either change the Masonic program, or, which I doubt, or we'll push back the picnic. All right. I know, folks, this ain't the most entertaining part, but it's what goes through it. What it also give you a chance to do is kind of see how long this takes. So, and then far as, and I said I may start doing this more often, as far as cost-wise, these pork chops was on sale, so that was about $4 for the pork chops. And then the I think the squash was another 99 cents. So this is a real inexpensive meal. Everything else is staples. You know, your seasons and all that. I ain't that cheap to break it down that far. But I am pretty cheap. Well, shall I say, frugal. Corey Price saying right now, nah, bruh, you cheap. I'm just gonna do this a little again just to make sure it really gets in there. I need to invest in one of them big shaker things I've been seeing. But in my head, I can just go ahead and build that. But I want to get one of them shaker things. Y'all seen them where it got the false bottom and it dusts everything off. All right, that's enough of that. Let's go and push this off to the side. And I'll get to frying them in a second. In the meantime, excuse me, we're going to get to making up this zucchini mixture that I made. So again, for the zucchini, it's not part of the recipe, but I might add it on there. I got 1.5 pounds here of zucchini squash, and I just seasoned it off with 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and then some Italian herb, like some oregano, olive oil, and I'm just gonna fry it off or saute it in some olive oil and butter. So real simple, but I figure put something a little bit lighter to combat this heavy fried food. Because believe it or not, you know, the screen adds 35 pounds to you or something like that. I've been back at the gym every morning at 5 o'clock. If you're watching, folks, try and tune in next week. You know, them stimmies done hit, and I got me a stimmy. So I'm going to do some black bean fried lobster next week. I'm lying. I'm lying about the stimulus, but I am doing black bean fried lobster next week. But I've been, and luckily I got them already, because them stimmies have hit, and folks is out there buying up all the crab legs, all the shrimp, all the lobster. Ain't leaving nothing for us folks that work year round and try and buy those type of things. All right. Move that around, and let's just go ahead and saute these off. Let me check the oil, get this oil started back up. So you're frying your pork chops at about 375. If you don't have a deep fryer, I highly recommend getting you a candy thermometer, or, as y'all know me and my handy dandy thermometer, just something like this that you can stick in there and test it. And then for pork, now, I might get some feedback, I really don't care, but I like to do things the proper way. For pork, I know most of y'all just can't stand seeing an inkling of pink in your pork. Pork is done at 145. I would recommend for the squeamish, take it up to about 150, 155, no more than that. If you hit it at 165, 170, it's going to be tough. So, do yourself a favor and get you a thermometer and fry it to about 150, 155. I'm going to turn this up some. Huh? Kiki, Keisha, Biscuit, Keisha. Hey, what up, Keisha? I shouldn't have said that. Oh, well. She know she my OG, triple OG, BH. Again, if you are just now tuning in, we are doing deep fried pork chops. So we got about 3 pounds of pork chops, and we season them off with some garlic, some paprika, some black pepper, and into our flour mixture, we put in about 6 teaspoons of salt. We shook that all up. We added a little bit of mustard for adhesion, and then we're going to go ahead and deep fry them. To go with this, we took about 1.5 pounds of zucchini and squash, diced them up into little cube medallions, whatever you want to call these things. I ain't big on the fancy technical terms. And then season that off with 1.5 teaspoons of salt and some Italian herb and oregano. And we're cooking it off in some olive oil and some butter. Huh? Yeah, okay. Again, you got to cook it to how y'all gonna like it, but I'm telling you right now, if you use a thermometer, if you hit 170, trust me, y'all done had them pork chops, that be all good and seasoned, but you sitting there chewing like you got a Jaws-sizer in your mouth. Trust me. Cook it to about, and actually at 150, 155, it won't be pink like, you'll see when we're done. I'll show you what it's like. But it ain't going to be pink like raw pink, but it will have a slight faint color to it. When I cater for barbecue, that's one thing I hate cooking certain meats for people because I like to cook to what I think is the proper way to serve food. Beef, I don't like cooking from the average person. And smoked ribs, because smoked ribs usually get what they call a smoke ring, but it's just a chemical reaction and that pinkness show up in there. And I've had some of my culinary buddies go to war for me with clients that said, it's raw, it's raw. And I'm like, hey man, just let it go, let it go. I did. So you tuned in late, my brother. So I seasoned the pork. Matter of fact, I told you somebody's gonna call me out on it. That's what I was saying earlier. Season your meat and your flour. Some people do one or other, but you know, I'm an old Southern boy, or at least at heart, and we season both the flour and the meat itself. So my good buddy Chuck, I put 6 teaspoons of salt in the flour, but then for the meat itself, I season that off with salt, some garlic, some paprika, and black pepper. So it was indeed seasoned. You eat at my house long enough to know that I ain't gonna make no rookie mistake like that. I thought we was better than that, bro. All right, let me go ahead and taste these. See, because I don't want them too mushy. I know the family like them with a little crunch too. So we're going to go ahead and cut this off. And we actually done with that, folks. And I put this over yonder. We done with that. And I'm going to go ahead and get to these pork chops. As soon as I get this temperature right back up. Forgive me if it get a little bit loud. The exhaust on this thing does kind of spit out kind of loud. It's like a jet engine. And we at 350. So I'm going to get this a little bit over 350 because once you put the pork chops in it, it is going to bring that heat down. But you should fry around 350. What I do with my unit, you got to test your own as it go, because mine doesn't have a thermometer, a thermostat on it. I bring mine up to about 360 so that it can make up for the crash that's going to happen. If you have an electric fryer, it should maintain the heat automatically. But I don't have, well, I'm not using an electric fryer. While you're sitting there waiting, folks, and watching, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube and that notification bell. If you're on Facebook, please like and follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and tap into us on TikTok. For all our recipes and videos, you can visit createsimplemeals.com and you can email me at askme@createsimplemeals.com. And if you're on the site and you need to notify me or want to contact me, you can hit that chat feature and it'll notify me, and I should get back to you in about 10-20 minutes or so. All right, folks, let me go and switch this camera. And we're going to go ahead and start dropping in these pork chops. I'm going to try to keep them as flat as I can when I lower them. That's a big one right there. Done all what? You got to clarify your cousin your question, my brother. If you already done all what? Or is we gonna let these fry for about 3 minutes, and in the meantime I can concentrate on some of y'all questions. Oh, speaking of which, Tyra, I need to hit you up because we're having technical issues again too. But what do you mean? But if you've already done what? Another trick while I'm waiting on his clarification. Always drink when you're cooking. It makes your food taste better, at least to you. So in the deep fryer, I'm gonna fry these for about 3 minutes or so. But once I get close to that, I am gonna check the temperature to see where they at. I don't like cooking the sight, but for deep frying, it's about 3 minutes. If you don't have a deep fryer, you're gonna do it, the old school grandmama way with the skillet. Then you're gonna look to about 3 to 4 minutes per side. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I done cooked a whole lot of stuff in my life, but for the life of me, I cannot skillet fry. I cannot skillet fry chicken, fish, or nothing, which is why I invest in the deep fryer. But for deep frying, about 3 minutes should do it. For pan frying, about 3.5, 4 minutes per side to cook those. And again, it also depends on the thickness. So if you're getting those picnic style pork chops that's real paper thin, then they're gonna cook a whole lot faster. That's why I say you want to get about 1 inch, preferably about inch and a half thick on the pork chop, so they can develop a crust and they don't turn into jerky on you. Huh?
If you've already subscribed.
Subscribe to.
Subscribe.
Oh, if you've already subscribed to Create Simple Meals, then if you've already subscribed, then share. You know what? See, that's that subliminal coaching. that the producers helped me do. I got you, brother. Yes. So if you've already subscribed, thank you, my brother Tyrone. Please share these platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and all of them. Please go ahead and share them. You know what? That's why I love you. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and add that into the mix so I can put share on there, because y'all know I forget, because I be sober when I'm programming and I don't remember until I'm started drinking. But I'm going to start adding that in there. I'm going to put my old voice and hit a button and call it a day. Let me go ahead and, because it's been a little bit minute, let me go ahead and test some of these. All right, my good folks, I believe these are done. So we're going to go and let them cool off for a minute. And as always, folks, this show is brought to you by the Self-Employed Tax Guy, first ever tax prep company that was built from the ground up just for you and me. Self-Lodge Planning, so for all your travel needs, please hit up Self-Lodge Planning. For your creative ideas and gift ideas, please hit up For You by Me Creative Designs. And for your custom-made t-shirts, please hit up Petty Phrases. If you got something to say it with your chest. All right, let me go and get me a little bit of clearance. And while we letting that cool off, we're gonna go ahead and start plating this up. And if you're just now tuning in, let me put that recipe back up on again. If you're just now tuning in, today what we did is a deep fried pork chop. We took about 3 pounds of pork chops. We seasoned them off with some garlic powder, some paprika, and some black pepper. And then we added some salt into our flour, shook that all up, and we deep fried them until they hit an internal temperature of at least about 155. And then to pair it like I'm a sommelier, what we eating it with is some sauteed zucchini squash. Basically, I took 1.5 pounds of zucchini squash, seasoned up with 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and put on some oregano and some Italian herb seasoning. Let me go ahead and grab one of these pork chops. Who said that? Hey, Adrian, the temperature should be at least 350. Some people will say 375. Again, what I do is I bring mine up to 360, because when you put the meat in it, it's going to crash it down. It's just the way thermodynamics work, I guess. But I fry it about 350 almost always. But a lot of recipes you read on frying pork chops will say 375, and they're probably building that in to account for it. But you want to maintain about 350 while you're cooking. I ain't forgot about y'all. I'm going to get the pork chop in a minute. Buffalo Trace is what my poison of choice is today. But see, I learned something, because I be going too far. I strongly recommend these even for your parties. They call posi pours. So this is 1.5 ounces. So when I turn it up, it's going to stop exactly at 1.5 ounces, which is good, so you don't overindulge like I'm known to do. Let me get these pork chops out. I'm going to try to get the prettiest looking one. Now, another thing, when buying your pork chops, especially if you live in a house like mine, make sure you get pork chops with enough fat on it. There's been almost divorces in this house over fat, because my wife has a habit of keep trying to ask me for my fat on my steak and the fat on my pork chops. She don't want the fat off my body, but she wants the fat off my steak and my pork chop. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be some furniture moving today if she touch my dadgum fat. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to see can I zoom in for my buddy Charles. All right, so that's, I don't know if y'all can see, well, that's kind of still white, but this is what 155 looks like. So that's what I mean by, and it's kind of hard to tell with this camera, but that slight tinge of color that's not perfectly white, that's what I mean by cooking to temperature and not to sight. So like I say, I use the 155 method, and it works for me. Now, so I was eating while the camera zoomed in. As far as taste, I wouldn't lie to you folks, not in the least bit. It ain't salty. It's seasoned just right, which I ain't gonna lie, I'm not surprised. I've been doing this particular recipe for a while. I developed it a while ago because I sucked at frying certain things, so I tried to develop it. You might want to add a little more, that's up to you. But again, what we did today, we just took some pork chops, we seasoned them off with a tablespoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of paprika, a teaspoon of black pepper, and about, for this, I used about 2.5 teaspoons of salt because I did more than what the recipe calls for. Then to the flour itself, we added in 2 cups of flour and 6 teaspoons of salt to that. Shook that up, fried it off, and to me it came out perfect. It's juicy, excellent. For this zucchini, I shouldn't have put that top back on. They start getting almost too soft, but they still got a crunch to them. The zucchini, and I might put this up on the website, but it wasn't part of it. The zucchini is just some zucchini squash that we diced up or cut into little small pieces, seasoned it up, 1.5 pounds with a 1.5 teaspoons of salt and some oregano and Italian herb. I don't measure herbs. I just put them on in there. Oh, I'm sorry, and I did put a little bit of garlic seasoning on there. Until next time, folks, please make sure you go ahead, if you haven't done it already, subscribe to that YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. Like and follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and tap into us on TikTok. Please, if you have any questions, you can actually want to see the old videos and recipes, go to createsimplemeals.com. If you have any questions, email me at askme@createsimplemeals.com. If you have a burning desire to talk to me immediately, hit that chat button. And please share these videos on whatever platform that you're watching us on. Remember, when it comes to cooking and here at Create Simple Meals, we only have these 3 rules. You must have passion, you must have patience, and you must be willing to practice. Join us again right back here on Create Simple Meals next week, where we will be doing that stimmy meal. We're going to do that deep fried lobster and black bean sauce right here on Create Simple Meals. Love you folks. See y'all soon.